Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I thought I would get you guys involved in designing my next creation. I asked you guys on Instagram to help me design a romper, and using Instagram stories, I asked you a bunch of questions on what you would like the romper to look like. I did use the polling system on Instagram stories, so the winning answer is what my design is going to be based off of. If you're not already following me on Instagram, make sure you do so now at coolirpa so you don't miss out on helping me design my next creation, and let's get started. Alright, so these are the winning answers from the polls on Instagram stories. I first asked you guys if my romper should have sleeves or no sleeves, and you guys voted for sleeves. Next, I asked if the romper should be shorts or pants, and you guys voted for shorts. And since you guys voted for shorts, I asked you guys how you would like the shorts to fit. Do you want them to be really fitted and structured, or do you want them to be loose, flowy shorts? And you guys voted for flowy. And since you guys voted for sleeves, I asked what length you wanted the sleeves to be, long or short, and you guys voted for short. I also asked if you wanted a ruffled detail in the romper, and 61% of you guys said yes. Next, I asked how you want to get in and out of the romper. Do you want there to be an elastic waistband that's simple to just slide on and off, or do you want it to be more fitted and have a zipper in the back or the side? And you guys voted for a zipper. Next is designing the neckline, and I asked you guys what you want the front neckline to look like. Do you want it to be more of a scoop shape, or do you want it to be more V shape? And majority of you guys voted for V shape. And since you guys wanted sleeves, I thought about having some kind of cutout or off the shoulder kind of sleeve look. So I asked you guys if you wanted that, and you guys said no. Next, for the back, I asked if you guys wanted it to be a low back, and majority of you guys said yes. When choosing the fabric, I also asked you guys if you wanted it to be one solid color or have some kind of print on it, and majority of you guys voted for it to be printed. I also asked you guys if you wanted me to buy my fabric from Joann or Savers, and this one was head-to-head the entire time. So what I did was I just went shopping at both of them, found a really cute bedsheet from Savers and a really cute fabric from Joann, and I had you guys vote on which one you wanted me to make the romper out of. And the fabric from Joann ended up winning, so that's what I'll be making the romper from. Since you guys wanted it to be a V-shaped neckline, I created a romper that had that neckline, but I also created a variation that was a crossover, and you guys voted for the crossover neckline. And since you guys wanted it to be a crossover in the front, I was wondering if you also wanted it to be a crossover in the back side as well. And you guys said no, you just rather have it dip down into a low back V shape. Another thing we needed to consider was if the romper was going to have a waistband, and you guys voted yes on that. I think those are all the questions I ended up asking you guys on Instagram stories, and I just went ahead and took the winning design that you guys voted for and started drafting the pattern. If you've ever been in a design class, you guys know how different everyone thinks. So I'm excited but nervous at the same time to take on this challenge, because I'm scared this isn't what you actually wanted the romper to look like. But I think that's the fun part about it, is that everyone thinks differently, and I just hope you guys enjoy this video, and let's get started. The first thing I did was drape the crossover bodice on my dress form and added some darts to nicely shape the bust. Then I draped the low back, which was really simple because it has no darts. And lastly, I draped the waistband, which was basically just a rectangle piece. To create the shorts pattern, I traced a pair of loose fitted shorts I had at home. To make the sleeves, I quickly traced out the shape of the armhole and made it look like a sleeve pattern. This is a really quick and lazy way of doing it. It kind of just gives me a basic sleeve pattern, and after creating my sample of it, I can make any alterations to it to fit my bodice. After all of my pattern pieces are made, I spent a lot of time creating samples of it to make sure everything fits good before I cut out the actual fabric. I bought 2.5 yards of the printed fabric and 2 yards of white lining fabric. I also bought a white invisible zipper to close up the back. Now we can cut out the actual fabric. You'll need to cut 2 of each pattern piece except for the front waistband, which will be cut on fold, and then cut out all the same pieces out of the lining fabric as well, except for the sleeves. Now we can start sewing, and I first sew all the darts closed on the bodice. Then sew the front and back bodice pieces together along the side seams only. After the side seams are sewn, face the lining and outside layers, right sides together, and sew them together along the front and back neckline. You should have 2 separate bodice pieces, a right and left side, that are both lined. Take one side and turn it so the shoulder seams are laying flat, and sew straight across to connect the front and back at the shoulders. And then do the same thing to the other half. After tucking the lining back inside, you now have a nicely lined bodice that's ready to be attached to the waistband. But first, let's make the shorts. To make the shorts, face the front and back short pieces right sides together and sew the inner leg seam closed. Do the same thing for the lining and printed shorts. Next, I was drafting pockets for the romper, but decided not to go along with it. But now I totally regret it and wish I added pockets because I found myself reaching for pockets at the end while modeling. After the inner leg seams are sewn, face the shorts together and sew along the giant U shape in the middle. Since I'll have a zipper in the center back of the shorts, I made sure to leave enough space for the zipper, but then sewed the rest of the U shape closed. And lastly, sew the side seams of the shorts together. Now we can make the waistband, and I already ironed on some interfacing on the printed layer and then sewed each waistband together at the side seams. Next, take the printed waistband and pin it right sides together to the bodice, making sure that the side seams are lined up. Go ahead and sew the printed waistband to the bodice, and you will be sewing through both layers. Then go ahead and pin the lining waistband to the back side of the bodice and sew it down as well. Now we can gather the shorts to fit the waistband. I'll be sewing the printed shorts to the printed waistband only, and the lining shorts to the lining waistband only. To close up the back, I'm adding an invisible zipper. I'm only sewing the zipper to the outside layer of the waistband and the shorts, and afterwards I'll be hand sewing the lining to the zipper tape underneath. This is what the finished line zipper looks like. I need so much more practice, but it still looks very nice and clean. Now we can sew the sleeves by first sewing the underarm seam closed. Next, pin it right sides together to the armhole, and I ease the sleeve in by sewing 2 rows of basting stitch along the top and gathering it just a little. The finishing touch to the romper are the ruffles that will go at the bottom of the shorts and the sleeves. Then I measure around the bottom of the sleeve and bottom of the shorts to get the circumference, and I'll be using my circle skirt chart to create the ruffles. Find the radius of your circle in the full circle skirt column and then use it to make your pattern. Once your ruffles are created, go ahead and sew it along the bottom of the sleeves and bottom of the shorts. I hemmed all the raw edges using my rolled hem foot, which makes hemming curved edges a lot easier, but it does take some practice getting used to. Lastly, since the back is very low, the top slides off my shoulders, so I created a strap to go across the back to hold everything up. I first thought of having the straps tie into a bow, but didn't really like the look of it, so what I ended up doing was sewing one side down and then added snaps to the other side so it can easily pop on and off. And I'm finished. Here is what the romper ended up looking like.
Stepping out, it's Friday night. How I'm longing for this day. Yes, I'm single, oh, we want to mingle, and my friends are on the way. You got that good, good vibe. I want to spend some time back here with you. Oh, whoa. I got that good old times. You want to spend some time back here with me. Oh, whoa. And time after time, I am wondering who is she to me. I'm gonna tell you right now, 'cause she's the one I'm thinking of. Hey, the only one I'm thinking of. Hey, she's everything I'm dreaming of. Hey, the one that I can live without. Oh, that smile makes me tripping out. I wanna dance with you tonight. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram in case I do decide to do this again on my Instagram stories. By the way, a little update on my broken foot. I am no longer in a cast, but I do have a walking boot that I can take on and off. I still can't walk yet, but I'm working on getting the flexibility back in my foot. Thank you guys so much for leaving me all the get well wishes down in the comments. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
I'm wondering who is she to me. I'm gonna tell you right now.